Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, a.k.a. Uncle Tex, a.k.a. Professor Tex. And what I just found out, there was some comments, somebody called me a football nerd. I'll take that. All good. The thing, some of you guys have been rolling with me for a little bit. You know, old school type guy, man, when it comes to certain aspects in football. One of the things as a kid coming up in football, I was always fascinated with running backs. That was the first. It was running backs, then wide receivers and whatnot, and then quarterbacks. That's kind of how it went for me at that particular time. Still, basically, I'm still like that. It's the running backs first, then wide receivers, and then quarterbacks and whatnot. I always felt quarterbacks got a little bit too much love and whatnot. So I'm a big proponent of smash mouth football. Love the old NFC East, whatnot. Run that ball. My favorite running backs, the first favorite running back I ever had was O.J. Simpson and whatnot. I'm not worried about all that other mess. O.J. Simpson, you had sweetness. You had when Earl Campbell came into the scene. Tony Dorsett. I had an opportunity, like I've told you guys before. My high school played Sealy, where Eric Dickinson. The first time I saw Eric Dickinson when I was in the 5th grade, he was a senior. My high school had played them in the regionals and whatnot. Tons of backs that I've always liked and whatnot. I mean, just different type of backs that came out, and I always believe in milking that clock as much as possible as you possibly can. And especially when you're getting into the season at this particular time, when you're getting ready to start going into December, going into late December and whatnot, and the weather's messed up, and what you can do with trying to run that ball and whatnot. Running the ball is essential, even though they try to still toss that out there and make running backs. They just turn it's just a passing league, and it's like they don't care about running backs. And I'll still say when Ezekiel Elliott came, he made that known as running backs is the stuff. In his first couple of years, he led the league twice in rushing. So, which brings me to the topic at hand. One of the things I've seen, which would be a great feat. You have Cleveland is playing Tennessee, and it's featuring your top running backs. In my opinion, a couple of the top running backs in the game. Obviously, Derrick Henry. Then you have, of course, Nick Chubb, and then you have Kareem Hunt. People forget, and I made a thing about this. I made a show about this about Kareem Hunt. People forget his rookie year, he led the NFL in rushing, and he went to a Pro Bowl. Kareem Hunt, who knows where to be at right now, but he's doing his thing and whatnot. And him and Nick Chubb, if they can sustain doing what they're doing, they can be the 7th tandem that have 2 running backs that rush for 1,000 yards basically in the same backfield and whatnot. That's a nice feat in itself. That's a commitment to running the football and getting yards and whatnot and stuff like that, milking that clock, that old school kind of football. And I think it'll be a great thing for the game. Not only that, Cleveland. Not only would that be a nice accomplishment. The footnote of that is the fact that no other team would have had because the first time it was done in Cleveland, it was done in 1985 with Kevin Mack and Ernest Byner back in '85. Both of them have over 1,000 yards and whatnot, and rushing and whatnot at that particular time. And at that particular time, it was a 1-2. That was only the third duo that ever done that. So that's major. And if it gets done this time, they'll be the first team that actually would have 4 players that actually pull that off. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, so no other team has had a repeat performance of doing that. So I kind of hope the guys pull it off. And that's going to be a nice matchup today with them, Derrick Henry, and because I like both teams. I talked to you guys earlier in the season about Cleveland and what they can do. And like I said, it starts with Nick Chubb, and then you got Kareem Hunt, and now Baker Mayfield and all them guys playing good and stuff like that. So like I say, them guys 8-3, 8-3 clubs. So that's going to be some fun to watch today and whatnot. But back to this subject here. So that would be a nice feat for them, and I like to see that happen and get some props up to these running backs, smash mouth type running back guys that's running that ball and making things happen in the league. But the whole historical aspect about the 1,000 club of two backs in the same backfield, getting that is significant to me. First time it happens in '72. That was with Larry Zonk and Eugene Mercury Morris and whatnot. They went 14-0. That's, of course, they won the Super Bowl and everything. Next time it happened, it was Franco Harris and Rocky Blau and that '76 Steelers team, which they have said probably was their best team or best defense, that what their defense carried, because they started off 1-4 and ended up finishing 10-4. Their defense ended up just basically just sustaining them, making teams. I think teams on average like 3 points a game on them, and they had like 3 or 4 shutouts. So that was something. But those guys, they ended up going to the AFC Championship game where they would end up losing to the eventual Super Bowl champ, which would be the Raiders. 1985, as I told you about Kevin Mack and Ernest Byner. They was on a 4-game losing streak, and then the last 6 games of the season they went 4-2, and it's responsible for a lot of these guys end up getting into the playoffs and whatnot. So that was it. So that was some nice, saying. So that was big back during that time when them guys did 1,000 because it hadn't been done in quite some time at that particular time. 2006, you had Michael Vick and Warwick Dunn. They did it. 2008, you had Brandon Jacobs and I think Derek Ward. They ended up doing it. Giants went 12-4. I think they losing the division round, I think, to the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. 2009, you had D'Angelo Williams and you had Jonathan Stewart do it. And both those are the first guys that actually in the same backfield that went over. They did over 1,100, both of them. And if I'm not mistaken, D'Angelo Williams missed like 2 or 3 games, so he was up for a big season where he possibly could have probably had 1,500 yards. They missed the playoffs. The funny thing about that is if you go look, all of those the six tandems that actually did that, the record of these guys of these teams that starred these backs, if the record of all of them is 59-33, right? And it was 2 Super Bowl champs that came out of that came out of that, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I think maybe just one then. Let me see. Go ahead. Yeah, I think it was just the Dolphins. And yeah, it was just the Dolphins and whatnot, because the Giants didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost. They won the Super Bowl the year before. So one-time Super Bowl champs. And only and the people who did that, only 2 of those teams actually missed the playoffs and whatnot. So that's a nice feat. I mean, that shows that this is a possibility that what Kareem Hunt and what Nick Chubb can end up doing. They're 8-3. Unless there's a collapse that happens in the next 4 or 5 weeks, they should finish up pretty good. At the very least, 11-5. If that happens and whatnot, 11-5, and they should be in the playoffs. And like I said, I was talking earlier about the AFC North. The Steelers is back in there. Baltimore ain't win nowhere. Baltimore's record could be just as Baltimore should have beaten Pittsburgh twice, and it just mistakes, or you didn't. If they had Lamar Jackson, any of that stuff could have went on, and their record would be completely different than what it is right now. So you got Cleveland. I was always talking about those 3 teams. Those three teams on the come up and everything like that. So the AFC North is going to be something to watch and whatnot coming up in these next couple of weeks for sure. But I did say if Cleveland could get out of their own way, they will be a force to be reckoned with, because they're a young club. They're getting it together. They've just been in each other's way over the past over like last year and a little bit of the year before that. So they should be fine. But I would like to see them guys get that record to do another 1,000 to show that running backs are not obsolete. You know what I'm saying? That they try to make them out to be. And the thing that I don't like is the fact that, it's like they try to act like these guys say, that's perfect football playing if you can milk the clock. You have to try to put that on your quarterback all the time. Run the ball when you need to really run the ball and whatnot. So it's refreshing to see. You got Derrick Henry coming in, getting ready. Like I said, probably looking for a big game with him and everything, as well as between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and whatnot. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I like to see them guys get that record. That'd be the only seventh duo to actually do that in the 100th year anniversary of the NFL. Some say 101, depends, but the league didn't start up until actually 1920. So it's actually 100 years, but they had to do it last year to get all the hoopla and then make it when it turned 2020 in January and then the Super Bowl and all that. So, that's how they do all that marketing crap. So that's how that basically goes there. But yeah, that's a big thing, because especially from a fan who enjoys watching guys run the ball. So I like running the ball and play good defense. That's why I like Cleveland. I definitely like Tennessee. Because you Dallas guys, it's like, man, I'm a fan of football, period. Dallas is my team, gonna always be. But the type of football, I like smash mouth football and hard-nosed defense. That's what I like to see played and whatnot, which made the Steelers so great back in the 70s and whatnot. So they did start throwing the ball, obviously, but that's what I like to see. And I hope these guys actually can do that and get into the playoffs and whatnot, make a deep run. I don't think they're going to go to no Super Bowl, but I'm just saying to make a deep run and having to being able to do that. And even if they did get the Super Bowl winning, that would be even better. That would make it for the next backs that's coming out here, man. We got to get a tandem, or we're gonna be more committed to running the ball instead of trying to get all these juicy stats for these quarterbacks and these wide receivers and whatnot, and so on and so forth. So like I say, so he should have a good chance. Like I said, of the teams that have done it, only on the team that have had to feature those particular types of backs, 59-33, and Super Bowl. And so that's a nice winning percentage. It's a good winning percentage right there. And only two teams basically by the skin of their teeth to an extent basically missed the playoffs. So that'd be something good to look at. So hey, I might be back a little bit later on and whatnot. For y'all just new here or whatever, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back. And I tell you guys all the time, there is no GOAT, there's no greatest of all time as long as time is still going on. And like I tell you guys all the time, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. Catch you guys later. Y'all have a good one.